recognize Officer Pollock. Come on up. All your years of duty. How many has it been?
21.
21.
Thank you.
Plus all the other stuff you've done for the town on your own time. We very much appreciate that.
Well, I thank you. I got the call from Eric, and I was like trying to skate, keep under the radar, you know, and then he called me. I'm like, oh, I got to come up in front of everybody, but
They're all your friends.
they're all my friends, and I gotta say, I work for the best department, probably in the state, under Chief AR, all the training. When we first got here 21 years ago, I was out there in my uniform, putting chains on cruisers, out in the parking lot in a snowstorm. Now we got all four-wheel drive cruisers, a nice heated garage, and constantly every month we were training, weapons training. I mean, if it wasn't for that, I was only part-time. I'm not full-time like these guys. But I had to call from time to time, and, you know, Rob be on his vacation, and 3 o'clock in the morning, in bed for 2 hours, but, you know, I love these guys. Any time of day, I could call them up and ask them a question. And there was no issues at all. The towns of Hardwick and Braintree, they don't realize that who they have working for them, how dedicated they are. And you said you were going to make me cry. I'm not going to cry, but I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows them are the true professionals in town. I want to thank them.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys, but most sincerely, thank you for your dedication.
Thank you all. It's gonna be a little longer. How's community policing?
All right, settle down. Whereas Edward T. Pollock, retiring esteemed police officer of Hardwick, Massachusetts, has served in law enforcement for the last 21 years and is well respected by fellow law enforcement officers, civilian employees, and volunteers. And whereas in appreciation of your 21 years of loyal and dedicated service to the people of Hardwick, Massachusetts, whereas we mark your time with us by honoring and recognizing who you are and your immeasurable contribution and dedication to the police department of Hardwick. Now, therefore, we, the Select Board of Hardwick, Massachusetts, do hereby recognize and congratulate Edward T. Pollock. I would like to say that I was always kind of a new guy on the fire department, and every time you were around at a fire call, I felt like you were really solid. And I want to thank you for making me feel at home. Thank you.
Thank you.
Put it on the side so you can get photos with that.
You want this opened up, or?
Oh, yeah, like one of those
Okay.
checks.
She's over there.
It was better?
Yeah, it was much better.
Some pickles.
You and your family.
Thank you, thank you.
You know, there's no real retirement in Hardwick yet, just so you know.
I know, they've been already trying to recruit me again.
I think you'd make a good EMD.
Sign them up for something else?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll talk to you later.
Alrighty.
All right. Next order of business, cable license for town renewal.
So this is a little bit overdue, but they were
Finally.
going back and forth, yes, and agreeing to all of the requests that we had. You know, afterwards, we had talked about, you know, the PEG amounts and things like that. It was, all the changes were in your packet. So now it's just execution.
We have a contract here we can sign.
Yep, it's right here. I didn't want to print it.
Does somebody want to move?
I would make a motion to accept the cable television license for Hardwick, terms of 7/15/2023 to 7/14/2033.
Second. Okay, moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so any other old business before we move on?
I don't know if you want to talk about the electric chargers.
That's something else, old business.
Yeah. So I also sent you an email with these two proposals, again, the 1-year warranty for $120 instead of the $480. So if you'd be inclined to accept that, we can just, I can do this and we'll be.
So that's all we would owe at that point?
Well,
Because it was a
it's-
different, what was,
It was it's,
can't remember.
we had to pay $14.46.
All right, 1,004.
Yeah.
Okay.
For each one, and then a warranty. And then we could have annual maintenance for the first year or not, if you don't want to do that. So it's whatever you want, I'll check. So it's not gonna be 5, but it's gonna be 3,000. I don't know,
And that would only give us a year of warranty versus, what was the first?
it was $480 for 4 years.
So it was essentially like 120 a year.
Yeah, basically. But this one died after like 6 years, so it would be out of warranty. And I don't anticipate brand new with having a problem within the first 4 years.
We still have electric cruiser?
We have a hybrid.
Yeah. And we've been plugging the electric car into the wall because we have, the car came with an adapter that plugs right into the wall outside. Because we do drive it, Ryan took it, we drive it, so. The alternative, I guess, would just be to remove them completely.
But then we have an electric car that we can't charge.
Yeah, well, plug it into the wall.
But this would bring us 2 new chargers.
Yeah,
And
a
a
double
warranty.
and an original, and a single.
I kind of feel like they're there. I feel like we should probably.
I don't want to hang it. I'm parked right in front of it. You know,
I don't know.
Did you plug into it?
no, but I don't want to hang it, out of order, so
Yeah,
so
right.
rip them out or replace them, I guess.
Yeah, this is for removal and replacement, so it'll take the ones away, of course.
I'm sure there's a fee just to remove them too. If we were just to remove them.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that waste we're talking about. It's up to us.
Yep, the second page is the costs here. Do you want to work
No,
on
it's
that?
not.
It's about a $40,000
That's
grant.
my major issue.
So we continue, or we're a green town, right?
Right. That's why I kind of
We've
feel
gone
like
through
we're,
this.
to be responsible, we probably should. And it is a grant for $40,000.
It costs $40,000 to replace something so we can plug in the car.
It's a grant for $40,000 to replace
To
these
remove and
2 chargers.
replace, and we're responsible for about $3,000.
You can buy a car for like 28,000. It's alright, it's grant money, right?
It's our money. Grant money is our money. But
I don't know, I think we should make the decision one way or the other though, so it's not hanging out
I
there.
think we should do it.
I would
We've
make
had
a motion that
complaints.
we can have Nicole apply for the grant, knowing that the out-of-pocket is an estimated $3,000.
Second. Any discussion? favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No? Put yourself down for no, you put me down for no on that one. Okay, next order of business. Visitation from the chief to open his contract. Chief will come up, discuss your items. Now, just to be clear, you could have this in
Yep,
executive
open
session.
session. Nothing on it.
Okay, all right.
Keep it simple. I'll give you a copy, Jim. Hold on a copy.
Sorry?
All right, there's three things in my contract I'd like to discuss and have the board reconsider. The first thing is on page 5 of my current contract. Section 10, subsection C states, I shall report to the board quarterly throughout the year when I do my time off for details. There's no other department head, no employee that's required to do that. So I'd like the board to reconsider removing that language from my contract, please.
That means that you have to report,
To the board 4 times a year if I do my time off. Weekends, nights, vacation time, if I do a detail supplement. You got other department heads doing overtime, they don't have to generate a report, so I think it'd be fair that same across the board, like I was always led to do.
you're talking about work out of town.
Wherever, yeah, right now I can only work out of town. That's another item on here I'll bring up, but
I'm just listening.
Do you want to go through them all and?
Sure. the next item is,
Yeah, it's hard to hear.
the next thing is, the union works a 4 and 2 schedule, 4 on, 2 off, which is good. It gives them time to recharge their batteries, which comes up to almost 14 days off more a year. The lieutenant argued his contract to get 14 days off the same, but he was awarded 7 days, admin days, to be fair. I asked for them same 7 days administrative, and I was denied, so I'm asking the board to reconsider that. And then the last thing is on page 5 of my contract. It states, I am allowed to do details out of town on my time off. I'm asking the board to reconsider that and add in town as well. That way there, if I'm on a holiday or a vacation day or at nighttime or weekend, there are several other full-timers. I'm the bottom of the barrel, so if the job gets to me and if I'm able to do it, I'll put a bid in for it. And that way there, people get to see me more. You know, our station's up in New Braintree, which works well, and I'm appreciative that they offered us to be up there, but I can't afford to eat every meal in a restaurant in town, so people can see me more. So this is another angle where they used to be able to see me all the time. I did it for almost 20 years. People can stop, talk to me, air their concerns a little bit easier. I think it's like high-level communication. And that's basically it, those 3 things.
I mean, I personally have 0 issue with number 3. I mean, that's kind of an easy one for me. I think it does put you back in town, and I've heard a lot of discussion throughout town that they aren't seeing you because, let's face it, everybody saw you a lot on the roads and stuff,
Mhm.
and you are available.
Mhm.
The 7 days, I mean, fair is fair. And yeah, at this point, we are not applying across the board that people have to report their hours or what they do in their off time. So until we make that policy wide, we probably should not have it in the contract. But that's my opinion.
I'm gonna disagree. We're a year into this contract. We sat down a year ago and worked all this out. Not everything is the same in everybody's contract. That's why either we don't have contracts or we do, and they're individualized to the person. I thought what we did was fair. I don't agree with in-town details,
So,
my opinion.
can I respond to that, please?
Yeah.
The reason why I'm here today is we have a 3-member board now, not a 2-member board that can at least view things. That's why I'm here today.
Fair enough. No, I'm voicing my opinion.
That's what.
I think having to report what you're doing on your off time is ridiculous. I had no part in this contract writing, and it's all before my time, so I don't know kind of what went on. The 7 administrative days, that's beyond me. I don't really feel one way or the other. But I'd like to see you around town. I'm thinking back to the first time we wrote a contract, and I didn't want the chief out there doing details, but if you're the last in a roster and everybody gets a chance, and nobody wants it, then I don't see any problem with that. I wouldn't want to start picking at the 7 administrative days necessarily, but the 1st and 3rd I'd be all for. So,
Well, how do you guys want to proceed? Do you want to make a motion on either way, and just we'll give them, this way we give them some finality individually on these things, and whether we approve it or not, we can move on.
Well, can I say something? Because I negotiated with him. So when we were negotiating, I wanted the chief to have the best contract because he is the highest, level of employee of the police department. And he was given 6 weeks of vacation, and I know Kevin gets 4 weeks of vacation. So there's a little bit difference with that, and his vacation time is different, his buyback time is different. All of those are elevated. So it is, in my opinion, at the time when we were doing this, a better contract. The details, the reason for the detail for the report was because the excessive amount of details that was done the year before for almost $40,000. So the board thought that, okay, you can do them minimally out of town because we want you to be our police chief, so we want to know when you're doing them. So that was the reason for the reporting of when he was doing details out of town. That was a temporary thing that you were going to revisit to see if you wanted to take that out. And then
The detail, we got town council's opinion that
Yeah.
the chief shouldn't do details.
Yeah, but we also have not had details filled, which makes another problem.
I think the Main Street is unique because it's a temporary project. This is taking up a lot of detail for sure. We need a lot of detail for this project.
The weir chief works in actively, he's a larger department, right next door. Warrant chief, a lot of other chiefs do. East Brookfield, North Brookfield.
I've personally had several different chiefs work details for me, so
I'm always in charge of the department. If they have a question, answer via phone. He'll be back, and I'll be back.
I guess I think we should just move through them one at a time, because,
I move that we lose the ruling about reporting in what you do on your off time.
Second.
any further discussion on that one? All those in favor?
Right.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Alright, that's changed. So we can amend the contract. that language gonna work in the contract? So,
Page 5.
Section 10,
C, yeah.
yeah, C in section 10.
nice. Any other ones we wanna motion? Do you wanna take any of this under advisement?
I wouldn't want to monkey with the second one, because I don't know their whole contracts, and as Nicole says, they're probably different one-to-one. I'd move that we allow the chief to do details in town, assuming that he takes the last. He's not keeping any other officer from it, and it doesn't get in the way of his work.
Second.
Any more discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
No.
One no. Alright, so do you want to just take two under advisement and take time to look at it, or do you want to not? I mean, either way, we can move it, you can vote it down, or we can take it under advisement and you can look into it and make a more educated decision. I mean, we kind of sat through the.
Yeah, it's new. It would be new to me. I suggest that we, how would we do this? Table it, wait to see if the chief wants to reapproach the board, kick it down the road.
I guess in a sense, but then they give you a chance to understand this, maybe the background on it.
All right, I'll read the contracts.
Is that okay with you?
That's fine.
Push down the road. Is that okay with you, Chief?
Yeah, thank you.
Do you have any other items for us tonight?
No, that's it. Thank you for what you did for Eddie, that was nice.
We appreciate you too.
He's a good guy, he's gonna be a tough one to fill those shoes, but
Don't make them cry.
He's not going
I
anywhere.
thought I saw a little glistening, I'm just saying.
It was too hot, I was sweating, anything.
all right, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Okay, the Visitation Board of Health of Leicester. Agreement. Oh, sorry, Visitation of the Board of Health Leicester agreement.
Okay, I call the meeting of the Board of Health to order. What time is it?
About 7.
7 o'clock.
We came to discuss Leicester Regional Public Health Consortium and returning to it. Ernest is not here. Leicester asked and required a new person, newly elected person on the board to engage with them, and we chose Ernie, and he's not here tonight. And so you're new too, so do you want to review what happened?
I know when Trevor was at our Board of Health meeting, you were there as well.
Yeah.
We come to the well, not the conclusion, but the finalization that we were gonna accept them back for the remainder of the year, the 1 year left on the contract, under certain stipulations. We told them ours, they agreed. Ernie went to them to hear what they wanted, and he was supposed to send us a contract, and we're all gonna review it and sign it, and we never got a contract. And nothing's coming through us. It seems to be going through other departments before we even know about it. So right there, they're not going through what we asked.
What other departments do you mean? What?
Well, me, Nicole. I wasn't going to point her out, but
Well, I'm gonna have to talk about it, so it's no problem.
And the way I saw it is we did vote to go back. We would love to use the agents. The town people love the agents. And our stipulations were that they need to communicate to the Board of Health, and that we now have a new Hardwick agent, and I consider him an agent manager. I think, Rob, you met Matt the night we appointed him, and thank you for coming to our meeting, because communication has been the problem, and personalities, and we're trying to build and have built in the last, since January, and in all of the last term, built a Board of Health that can stand on its own. And Matt Fortier is our new agent manager. I sort of imagine this position where he will hear of incoming business, channel it always through Hardwick, through Tricia, our clerk, and then Tricia will contact Matt, and he will determine whether it's a septic installation and so on, who's going to do the work, and hopefully give it to Leicester. And we ask that Leicester report only to us at the Board of Health, namely to Tricia and Matt Fortier. And I talked with Nicole, and she would prefer not to be engaged in her busy schedule with Leicester either. So being excluded from all these discussions, I haven't called, we haven't contacted Leicester. And I don't know what else you want to know. I want to tell you that we want to move forward. And I have made efforts to engage in a different coalition of providers, working with Ware, the Quabbin Health District, which is Belchertown, Ware, and Pelham. That's going up the left side of the Quabbin. And Matt Fortier is, or was now, he's resigned to be the clerk at the town of Orange, and I'm not sure, but maybe the manager, but he will be our health agent. They have a coalition, the North Quabbin Health Coalition, and I can't tell you exactly, but we asked if we could join that one. And Matt said, yes, we could, but they'd have to vote us in, and we'd have to wait 6 months. So those are, and then I worked with China 9, which is Community Health Network Associations funded by hospital taxation. They just produced a study of the health needs of, because Bay State is required to create this health needs survey. One fact I remember is that there's one doctor for every 1,000.8 people that includes Ware and all the other towns that Palmer, the Wing Hospital, serves. But Hardwick is even further remote from that. We all know we're missing a hospital and rapid access. So joining a coalition of a China group, it seems more distant. Meanwhile, this law to tax the water sent to the east, 5 cents per 1,000 gallons by Jean Comerford from Amherst, and, what's his name, Sanders?
Saunders.
Saunders from Belchertown, which would replace the Quabbin MWRA, which used to be the MDC, and the bill proposes.
We kind of need to talk about Leicester.
Yeah.
I know in a roundabout way you guys tell us something, but I need to know we kind of need to know what's happening with Leicester.
Well, I'm telling you, nothing happened, and we're sort of like,
What,
we don't know.
so,
We need a contract from Leicester so we can review it and sign it. Whether there's a contract
So,
floating
so
around or
before
not,
I
have no idea.
started on July 8th of 1981, of 2021, you all, including the Board of Health, signed a contract that expires on June 30th, 2024, with the extension of another 3 years. So the
you guys
discussion,
signed this contract?
yes, she
No.
absolutely has
Oh,
this
yeah,
contract.
Um,
A few times.
We
And
did not sign that
so the,
contract.
Stan signed that contract as the chair of the Board of Health.
Standard.
He most
Yes, he
so
signed
so the town was never out of this
with
agreement.
you,
Correct.
he signed, and then it was nullified because our budget, which they weren't supposed to touch the Board of Health budget. And so,
Who's
I-
that? Wait,
The contract was never nullified.
No. It's
well,
not been nullified at all. So this is the thing, so they had a meeting, the next morning she came to me and said, the board voted to stay with Leicester. So, Leicester called me and said, we need to know for DPH, and they need something in writing. So I emailed and said, the Board of Health at their regular meeting voted to stay with Leicester, and that satisfied the DPH to include us in their grant round. So we are included in the upcoming grants. I have
that's new
told,
information.
I have told, the board that they should now start calling Leicester when you get an application in, and they're going to process everything.
We want
So-
to hear from Leicester if they agree to our terms.
Leicester should have called us.
And I need authority from the select board who signs the contract before I'm going to act. Besides, I was muted, and Ernie and,
I know, I guess my confusion here is,
we're confused.
well, I know, but
And,
me sitting over here, let me explain to you what
okay, Rob,
you guys have Tina, correct?
have what?
You have your,
Tricia.
Tricia, sorry, I got your name wrong.
We know you.
So she's your like clerk, correct?
Right.
All right, so you need some way that if you don't want things to go to the Board of Health of Leicester, people need to have access to permitting information, right?
Right.
So we agree on that.
It's all there.
Right. So the problem is, I don't know how many hours a week you work, or how many hours a week?
Many.
At the moment, Mary.
Tricia.
Tricia,
Because I've been, we updated the fee schedule and I've had to redo all the paperwork, then get it back onto the web so people can get the correct form, streamlining it.
What's your average that you work weekly?
40 hours?
What are you
40 hours.
budgeted for?
She went over the budget this year,
Yeah.
I continually told them, but,
We didn't have a clerk,
We-
and so she was using the budget
yeah,
up
I
from,
started in November. I
now
did
she
the
has
whole
to
year.
cut her hours.
yeah.
so I think we need to just make it so everything goes to her, because she is
Exactly,
on
that's
the
what we
payroll.
want to
Staff, right.
All right, so we need to figure that out. I think that's what we need to figure
We
out.
figured that out, and we know how to do it. We
Well-
just need to tell Leicester that those are our demands, our criteria.
But people, when they go to get information, are going to Leicester, so why are they going to Leicester first?
We don't
before
want them
we
to
go?
go to Leicester, we want them to go to us.
So why?
What is the website?
They should be coming directly to the Board of Health, and then Tricia will see what type of permit it is, and then she'll call Leicester, and then
No.
Leicester will do the
She'll call
whatever.
Matt, and Matt will.
Okay, Matt
Direct us.
apparently is going to be their manager to tell the Leicester Board of Health what they're supposed to be doing. Unnecessarily, in my opinion, but that's their own board.
Do you have enough money to
Right.
fund Matt?
But yes,
hours and,
That comes to another problem, is we got a revolving account voted for in the annual town meeting,
correct.
and now we are collecting permits and need to deposit it, but I asked everybody today, and they said, I have to come to you, but we don't have a number, and that account is not set up.
Right,
So we're accumulating checks.
well,
But the idea is that everything that's permits will go into the new revolving account. And eventually, we will pay Matt out of that. And so the permits and the work of it, and she is also going to be paid out. We appointed her as the permit clerk. And the whole fee schedule is based on how much the clerk gets for the permit and how much the work is taken by the agent for the permit. We raised the permit fees to be compared to other towns around us, so now we're, and we adjusted them in the new.
So you
board.
don't, what you're telling me right now is you got Matt doing a job that you don't have money to pay him.
No, we do, he has a fee, he has an agent, Board of Health,
Do you have the money to pay him?
Yes.
Okay.
$13,000. Oh, I forget what it is, maybe it's 8,000
All right.
in our budget. Our budget was cut in half.
Yes.
because we should be using Leicester to
Right.
offset that.
This-
No, that's not what the grant and the contract meant. And Nicole, bless her, she's been trying to save the town money, but that, in some people's estimation, is double dipping on Hardwick people who want to do. We
Well-
get free agents,
Well, let me-
and we charge them and put it in our treasury.
Let me walk you through what you're asking people to do right now.
Yeah.
All right, so you're asking to file a permit with her. You're passing that permit to a guy named Matt, who's out in Orange. Who's going to take your permit, so if she finds a problem that you call the person back to fix this. He finds a problem, he calls these people back, fix this. And then it's gotta go to Leicester, Leicester finds a problem with it, can you fix this?
No.
Well, this is what's gonna happen to people. So what I'm trying to try to help you do is, you need to streamline your process, because people will not get permits if you make it difficult.
It's not difficult.
Well,
We've been streamlining it since January and since Stan came on the Board of Health, and so that we can stand
I'm
alone.
not getting it. I don't know. I guess I don't know. I understand Leicester has a contract with us, so.
That's questionable.
Well, the contract is a contract.
When
a
they
contract.
resigned on January 9th, they left us high and dry. And
All right. Can we-
fortunately, Stan
Can
had
we
hired
please-
2 agents who both retired about,
I'm not sure we're gonna get anywhere
April.
without Leicester.
Right, I think this is a conversation, because
well,
there
I
seems to
know.
be some confusion here, and I would understand why the people of Hardwick, if the Leicester agents are coming out, would talk to Leicester. I mean, I understand it's not right, but I understand that
it doesn't matter what agent does your work.
but if that's the person, if they call Shelley, or whoever the person is they're dealing with, I'm just making a name up here. But if she's the one who came and did the inspection, they have an issue with it, that's probably the person they're gonna call back. That tends to be how people do things.
Well,
Now,
when-
I'm not saying it's right, I'm just saying, maybe we need to just get Lester in here to help just clarify this, to make this easier, because this seems like we're really pushing hard on this thing that shouldn't be that difficult. I mean, we've been back and forth to this over a year now. And
I
I
know.
don't wanna make your life difficult, I don't wanna make any of your guys' life difficult. I would really like to make this easier. I really don't even wanna hear about this anymore.
I know,
I-
it's really frustrating.
It's really been like,
Imagine the hours that I'm putting into it.
Lester has the ball.
I will get a hold of
Well-
Leicester and I'll have
well, they-
Leicester call them.
they may be confused.
And maybe they can just,
I
But
would
maybe
like-
they're not. Maybe this is just the way they want to do it, and maybe you're correct. Maybe we need to look for an alternative, but this is something I think that we just need to discuss.
The way our things read is we would go back with them for the remainder of the year on this first part of the contract to see if we can work together like adults. Because it's been very unprofessional, the relationship of LARP and Hardwick. And it's neutered us and made us look foolish in front of our own townspeople. And now we have a system that is self-perpetuating and that won't double dip on the people of Hardwick and that will pay higher prices for the services that we can use only in emergencies to fill in when they can't come the distance from Leicester, like used to happen. You know, and people are waiting with water and holes and perk tests and I don't know if it was Shelley, but somebody got sick and her child and she couldn't go. So that'll go. But we're not going to use him as an agent. We're going to have him say, oh, here's what you do. You know, Cynthia came to me about the Hardwick Pond. What do I have to do to take out the septic in the well? So I went to our permit list and I need number 32 and 38. Well, so I gave her all that and it has the law and how you do it and everything from our new permit list. And they went ahead and demolished, and I don't think they pulled a permit. And I checked the other day, and the tanks are gone, and I don't know about the well. So, what do? Do I find them, or do I call up and find,
There was a contractor involved in all that. He should have pulled permits.
Right. You
Yeah, so
know,
that's who you have to go
every day, you know, is something minor like that. So, we would love to have Leicester and the agents.
Well, if it's not gonna work, I'm fine with, like, if it's not gonna work. Because if this is gonna be difficult, I don't want it to be difficult.
Right.
But at the same
We're
time,
almost here on
I
our own.
kind of feel like there's just something missing with the contract, and I agree with you, the communication, there's just,
Right.
but I know there's some hard feelings with you personally with this whole thing. And
Well,
I appreciate
that doesn't
you
matter.
you've been staying off to the side to allow that to not
Exactly.
be affected. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
So let's
I'm
try to
sorry.
get Lester in here. Let's see if maybe we can get some discussion between you and Lester, and if this is just not gonna work, we
Yeah.
can just end
If
this
Trevor would
contract.
come back and talk to the new people, I won't even be here, maybe. Ernie was gonna come today, but he's so busy.
It happens.
Also, I just want to say, I'm not going to run for office, and I have spent 3 full years, full-time almost, on the Board of Health. It requires a lot, and we've almost gotten it so where it can be automated, and we can start working on big problems of health, like combining watershed towns and getting shared services and getting hospitals back and getting rapid access and getting grants and I'm very hopeful, and hopefully the Board of Health will function independently of you guys, but you have to keep on top of it. You can't just give it to your administrator to run anything in this town. So, if you work half as much as I have in the next year, I'll give you gold medals.
Thank you very much. It's a great thought.
All right.
I move we adjourn.
Good.
You better stop this, yeah.
Alrighty. So, next item on business, end of the year transfers. Thank you, guys.
Here they are. These are the ones Finance Committee already signed. You did have them in your packet, but I did today get the final,
budget versus actual, so I did have to make a couple of changes in mine, so, or not mine, but the highway did their own, the police did their own, the treasurer did her own, and then I did the rest of them, because I don't know how the process exactly works. I know that the accountant had told all departments to send them to them at Markham, but that didn't happen, so we just did it ourselves. We have about $130,000 left in FY '23.
Huh?
Did you look at that?
No. I mean, I looked at what we had, if they're different than what's.
The only one that's different is the one that I created.
FinCom had a meeting to sign off on this?
Yes.
Right before ours. So this one's different?
Yeah, that's the only one you'll want to compare. I don't remember exactly. I know there was some, couple of fire department expense lines. The townhouse had like, if you'll see, it was 9,000 something on the one I sent you Thursday, and then after this warrant, it went up a little bit.
I'm gonna need some help with my EMD history, so I can apply for reimbursement. I have till August 15th, and I can put it together on my end, but I need proof of purchase from the town.
Sure.
Okay. Even without an accountant? That's
Even
fair.
without an accountant. There are a few things I can do. It's those DOR reporting things that are just way above my pay grade. Expertise, area of expertise, I guess.
We need a motion on this?
Yes. Just to accept them basically.
I move we accept the transfers.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
All right.
Can I sign with Bill here?
Yes, please. I have no idea why I sign it, but. Oh, he was gonna come back to talk about something.
He's here.
Oh, he's probably gonna pop back in.
Okay.
Alright, so what's the next item I'm signing these?
ARPA.
ARPA. What do you want to talk about, ARPA? Do you have anything?
I don't, I mean, we could go into a long discussion about the .govs and about the phone system, those are the two things, but I don't have the exact amount at the end, because I needed to work with the accountant, so I need a little more time on that, so I don't have the exact amount, so,
Okay, so we don't have anything for ARPA.
no.
Fuel awards?
Fuel awards are in that green packet, they just need your signatures.
Dennis Burke?
Yeah, I think that's fine. If you want me, I can find the one that shows exactly who the awards went to. Thought we put that in the packet.
I don't actually remember seeing this.
Sorry, should have been in the packet.
Hello.
That's for a different town, Millbury or something, that wasn't our award.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, oh, okay.
Millville?
Yeah.
So I think you just have to sign the red ones. I guess she has me, send me a letter.
Yeah, letting them know.
Yeah.
Do we have to accept those?
CMRPC does the bidding. We didn't put it out to bidding.
Oh, they do, so.
So where will we be getting the fuel oil from?
I have to do that. You sent me a template, right? I will do that tomorrow to let everybody know where they're gonna get the fuel from.
RJ McDonald.
Yeah, I think everything stayed the same, but.
If I recall correctly, everything stayed the same except for propane. Propane went to RJ2. So if you have a propane tank, you're gonna have to call them. If it's not a town-owned tank, you're gonna have to change it out, which is gonna cost money. So all the departments will have to remember to do that.
But not private homes.
No, this is just for
The
town owned.
Right.
Town, yeah,
Fuel.
just a town.
Don't worry about it, she'll figure that out. I don't know why I don't know why she would give the,
Well, could you send the,
yeah.
trying to keep it together? Something Chuck would do.
I would do the same thing. Just
NLA, our
Yeah,
rescue squad.
just need you to sign, it's exactly the same.
Yeah, that was enough.
$24,400. We did berries last month, but it slipped by me, or they didn't send it till late.
This was pretty close, we saw.
I'll send it.
Okay, Amendment 1, legal services, between Hardwick and KP Law.
So when we had the agreement for legal services for USDA, they had a not to exceed amount of $125,000, and they were going off of, you know, all the work that they were doing for all the changes that we were doing, the change order, and then all of the legal work. And USDA's like, that's too much, go back, and so they dropped it down to 90, so if you don't mind,
You want me to sign, you want me to sign this one?
yeah, if you want to sign that, that'd be great.
Can we send it back again?
Sorry?
Can we send it back again?
Maybe get it down to like 70?
Yeah, 75, something like that. It's not even reasonable at that.
Do you have an unstapled copy before he rips his fingers
Sorry.
off?
I would've got
You
it.
know, I stapled it because he's like, where's the agenda? Where did this go?
I am pretty, I am pretty happy to get stuff done sometimes. All right, committee reports, is anybody actually here with the committee report?
There were some in here,
Yeah.
like the fire department.
Did you want to do the police report? Committee report? Huh? All right.
Emergency Management Department is doing fine. Finishing up the grant.
Miscellaneous correspondence.
No, I don't have anything.
Okay, so now it's your
Wrong
report.
one, Nicole.
What?
I think you're putting the wrong one.
No, it's West Brookfield.
I thought he just signed something for the.
Yeah, we just signed the
Oh.
legal agreement.
Oh my God. I would never find this
Nice
tomorrow.
catch.
Thank you, Lori.
Thank you, Lori.
God. Been begging her to work with me since I started. I don't know if you want me to go through the report or just.
Why don't you
I
give
put
us an
them up.
overlay like the new stuff, because there's some new stuff that came out today as well.
There's no new business item on this agenda.
You know what? Instead of doing new business A, B, C, D, I thought basically all of these new ones needed their own. Instead of being an A, B, I thought they should have their own.
Gotcha.
So for USDA, the equipment for Project 2 has been awarded to Aqua Aerobics Systems. The goods and services contract is ready for your signature. I sent that to you in an email. It's 154 pages, so I didn't print it out. The Wheelwright wastewater treatment plant should be going out to bid in the next couple of weeks. Debt repayment is still being discussed. I have been going back and forth with every state agency I can think of to try to get anything other than betterments, because it is a utility, so no parcel in town really is exempt from paying for utilities. But in going back and forth through this with the state and with the attorneys, they don't see a way, a vehicle, a possibility for us to be able to assess tax exempt properties, an assessment, because there's just nothing in Massachusetts that allows us to do that besides a betterment. So, you know, because I was saying to them, it's like debt exclusion, but for everybody, because if you do a debt exclusion, Eagle Hill doesn't pay, churches don't pay, Smock doesn't pay, the ones that are on the system and our users don't pay. And, you know, the biggest user of the system should obviously be helping the repayment. So, short of maybe approaching these on-system entities and, you know, asking for maybe a pilot, something I really didn't explore yet. But as far as I can see right now, we're stuck at betterments, which are never a good solution, right? It's always difficult to enforce that or to try to manage it, but I don't know. I'm still, you know, it's not something that's so pressing that we need right now, but it's something that's really on the forefront. Yeah, so still looking into trying to get it so it's fair for everybody in town, because it is a town utility. So the oversight, I sent you those RFPs, and then Whitewater Wastewater wants to meet sometime this week possibly, just to kind of go over like what I think you guys want, to maybe give also, you know, a price proposal to see exactly if they would be in. I drive by on my way to work this truck, this is Whitewater Wastewater, and I couldn't connect with them, and last week I guess they had a lot of vacations, so still trying to work with that to try to get, you know, somebody on board to maybe before the bids come back and that kind of work starts.
The only thing with them is they are a subsidiary of RH White.
Okay.
So I assume RH White will be bidding on these plans.
Oh, I see.
But I would not have the meeting with them.
Okay, at least I could get some information. Right?
Yeah.
Well, get some information, and
I
it
think-
could be a possibility.
I think what we're thinking is very simple.
We are. It's just someone with the knowledge and experience to understand the process and,
Right.
and oversee.
And just oversee as a liaison,
Just a clerk of the works.
extra set of eyes.
Right.
Like, it's not anything, and I appreciate all those RFPs, but I think it's too much. I think that's too much. I think that's for when we need them to be there because of the letter of condition to do the running of them. I think that's more what those are geared towards. I think what we're, yeah.
Like, so for example, I went over the, where's the agenda? The goods and services contract with Aqua Aerobics, right? With Scott, with the engineers, we did the RFP. That is something you would rather have them be doing? Like this person be doing?
I think it's a question of having somebody who can, you know, look at it. I mean, you gotta do the work and make the deals, but, you know, I think what I'm thinking is we have somebody that's just keeping an eye out, you know. I would call Graves Engineering, they can do this. At least they
Like
can
check
give
in a
us,
couple times a week,
yeah.
and then just, right?
Right,
Yeah,
and
review
keep
those
track.
documents.
Right.
Make sure, hey, you want to get a warranty on this or something like that.
Right.
You know, may
Yeah.
not be in these documents.
In the world, they'll go look at the payroll to make sure everybody's on the QT. But, I mean, that's a bigger job. Probably that doesn't need to happen.
Well,
But
that's what
somebody
I
that-
certify those payrolls every time they send them to me.
Okay, but then you certify all the invoices and everything else? I mean, it really,
Yeah,
It's a lot of time.
because it comes out of
But-
one account.
you're
So
too
this is
busy.
one small project.
Yeah.
When these get going, you're not gonna be able to do all that.
So who?
And your job.
Right. I
Like,
know.
that's our concern, I
I don't
think.
like the pay, when you say the invoicing, so they're gonna submit the invoices to the
No,
accountant?
no, they're gonna be looking at credits. When something happens and it needs to be reworked, there's a change order, there's material returned, whatever. It doesn't have to be, I mean, not necessarily small stuff, just kind of overall, keeping its
So did you say you could call Graves Engineering?
I would be happy to call Graves Engineering, and they could send us an idea of what
Perfect.
we're thinking. We need to put it out to other people.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
To see, and you guys know
This is,
outfits in this world, right?
Yeah.
And I don't, I'm a
This
stone
is,
mason.
this is kind of a specific
Very unique.
niche
Qualification.
in construction.
All these contractors that bid the next 2 jobs are gonna have to be pre-qualified to even bid the work.
Right,
Right.
so, and there's a lot, and it's USDA watching out, I understand that.
Yeah.
But I really would feel better if we had somebody outside.
Well,
The
I
whole
think we
system.
owe it to the townspeople to do that, because we've sat here and said how we didn't do that on other jobs, and things went wrong.
I didn't do it, I screwed up on wheelwright.
Well, and that's
because
what I'm
of it.
saying, we've sat here and
Right.
said, things went wrong because
Yeah.
we didn't do that.
And
So
we fixed it.
it would only, I don't know, that's the way I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
It'd be shame on us again if we didn't have some sort of liaison.
We just got an extra work order for like $500,000 because of the gas money. Just something that was in the way. I mean,
Completely
that
unexpected.
stuff,
It happens every
I
day.
mean, you won't have that issue here, we don't have the gas.
I was
money.
like, well, what are you talking about? I did
But-
not hear
Her
about
own-
this at all.
His own, and like,
Yeah.
But this, I mean,
his real job.
it really, like, water mains sometimes, all of a sudden you're trying to run something in the water mains in ways, so they gotta go cut it. And if it's transite pipe, well, now that's a special
Or
abatement
accidents, something goes
process.
up head over heels, or
Yeah,
Yeah, we've been seeing that all along this road.
yeah, this,
they're putting in potholes. I swear, they push you now, coming this direction. It's really hard to avoid them. There's an extra one just a couple of days ago. Lucky.
Okay, so I'll keep on that.
I'll call Graves and
Yeah, that'd
see
be great.
if they
That'd
can
be great.
send something to us and give us a
Or give me a
framework.
call and,
Yeah.
yeah, whatever.
maybe another meeting, have you talked again to Blue Heron?
No, I haven't. I can call, I'll reach out to
Maybe
them.
reach out to them again,
Okay.
because they're close by and, you know,
Yeah.
they have knowledge.
The only thing was that they were on the wheelwright project. That's the only thing that I was apprehensive about.
They were or they will be.
But
Or,
what side of it were they on? Were they actually on the building or were they on the inspection side?
I don't know.
That's what I would ask them.
Okay.
If they were on the inspection side, then it's really not a conflict. If
Okay.
they're on the building side.
Yeah, we had Western.
Western
West-
Cent-
No,
Western
it wasn't
Cent
them, it was another Western. Weston.
Was in.
Oh, no, do you want me to give it to them? So, a new accountant who was assigned to us, but another accountant has just been assigned to us this week. So Markham assigned us an accountant, but then changed and assigned us another one. So for the whole month of for July, for the most part, I haven't really heard much from Markham. Today they wrote to terminate services by July 31st, so I'm working on getting somebody else on board, hopefully within the next couple of weeks. I did ask, so Lori DeLolio, who was the accountant for us through Markham, resigned. And in the contracts, and it's like this with all vendors, they can't work for the towns for a year. However, I called Markham and kind of expressed concern over the end of year, and that, you know, if they would relax that or amend that part of it, the contract with Lori, to allow her to assist us with that. And she said she didn't have a problem with it, but she'd have to talk to HR, and then I just asked for that in writing. So I'm hoping that that's gonna come through for us.
Have you talked to Lori about that?
Yeah,
Is she agreeable?
she is. She is. Okay, so our streaming equipment that's been broken is fixed as of today, so we should be all set. The planning board was talking today about wanting to start having them recorded and uploaded to YouTube too, so maybe that might happen in the future. And any other meetings, any other boards are encouraged to have them here at this building. you know, to be able to have the communication and the availability for recording. And then the new vehicle chargers, you just approved, so we'll get that going. The flooring, basically everything is complete here. There's a little bit of work that needs to be done and some sealing, some electrical. But we are pretty much complete with well, there's 2 rooms, so the assessor's office and the clerk's office are supposed to be carpeted this Friday. And then it'll be complete, and I need to talk to somebody. I was hoping that I was gonna see Glenn tonight, but he didn't come to the meeting, regarding this boiler issue and what we can do to prevent this from happening, because October's on the horizon.
Yeah,
So,
sure is.
and that's really all for new. Everything else is ongoing that's on my administrative report that's on the website.
Looks like we have some, Rob has something else to sign. The DOT.
Yeah, that's here. We actually have a couple. I'll do that.
Just see it.
Yeah, DOT.
So, where'd she go? So this is
yeah.
the thing. This is no good either. Well, we'll do it for now. This is Markham, and these are the accountants. Because Elizabeth Bracchio was our accountant for some of the contracts, and now this individual is supposed to be for us. But if you could just sign them, and whatever invoices we have, we will get them. No.
Chair, no.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
And then, you have to have Brian,
Notarized.
Oh, I'm a notary. I can do it.
oh, either one, yeah.
And then you guys signed this already, and you signed
Goods
those.
and
Okay, perfect.
services.
The goods and services,
Agreement needs to be signed, it says.
yes, the goods and services needs to be signed, but my name is on there.
Oh, okay.
So what I think that you need to vote to authorize me to sign the goods and services. It's not in your packet, it was separate.
It was a
because-
separate, yeah.
In the email, but a separate.
No, it's here, it's this one, that's the other pages one.
Yeah, so like page 1 and 5 or something like that are supposed to be signed.
Do you want a motion for that?
Sure.
Okay. I would make a motion to allow Nicole to sign the goods and services contract with Aqua Aerobics.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anything else with signatures and approvals?
Nope, everything that was over there you signed already.
All right, Selectmen Roundtable discussion. So we did kind of touch on the accountant, which would probably
Well, fingers crossed that Lori will
help us out for a little bit
will
here.
help us out. And I know you've talked about shared services. Is there any?
Well, I was gonna reach out to, so that when we wrote the job description with CMRPC, I did it with Sherry Patch in
Princeton.
Princeton. And they, you know, we kind of dragged our feet a little bit, so they voted to stay there with the other accounting firm. So I wanted to reach out to her, but I also know Hadley, who has Markham, also wants to do shared services, and their board of selectmen. I know their town administrator, and we see each other at conferences, and we have like this monthly luncheon on Fridays. And they're very interested in doing a shared service, so, you know, we would really have to just kind of get down to the nitty-gritty of the difference in the budgets and the difference in percentages. And, you know, we would want 2 days here, 2 days there, 1 remote day that we all, you know, basically I do a
Sure.
remote day on Friday. And so, you know, we have those people here dedicated to our town.
We have to find an accountant.
We have to find an accountant,
Yeah.
but with a shared service, we'd be able to pay better and I think attract a better pool of applicants.
Right.
Because when we went out to,
I'd be open to reaching out to Hadley in Princeton.
Yeah, just gonna have to find someone who's willing to commute too. Because whether you go Hadley or
Yeah,
Princeton,
it's a, right.
Hardwick, it's.
But you might get a pull from in between each one.
yeah, I know the towns are exactly the same amount of distance from my house here and to Hadley. So maybe somebody like that.
Wasn't Hubbardston interested in, am I losing my mind?
I don't know. No, Hubbardston has I'm getting hot. Hubbardston has a remote,
Oh, okay.
no, you don't have to turn it on, I was just going like this.
That's the idea, is to drive people out as nice.
Has a remote accountant that lives in Florida.
Oh, boy, okay.
Yeah.
New Braintree,
But with,
Tina's leaving.
New Braintree has a brand new elected accountant who is very green.
Elected.
Yeah,
okay.
Right.
and I think the other towns around us have a full-time accountant, so we would, need somebody who's basically part-time in each town.
Right, right.
Melanson gave us I think it was 10 hours a week, and it was mostly just AP.
Yeah.
The high-level stuff was very, very
No, I think
limited.
if we can find someone good, it would make a big difference in
Can't
the
hurt to
financial
look.
team.
Absolutely, and it would be
Yes, I
sitting
think
right
there's
in the
still-
treasurer collector's office.
I think there's still some work to be done there. So,
We've been through so many, or I have.
oh, I've been through,
7. I told Lori you're my 7th
Yeah.
accountant.
honestly. Yep.
All right. You guys got anything else for?
Move to
Do we-
adjourn.
Oh,
May I just
I
say
was just-
something briefly?
I was just gonna ask how we're gonna run tomorrow, so that it's,
Basically, I'll open the meeting and then I'm gonna pass it off to you, the meeting tomorrow. Basically, all it is a presentation, and it's for the select board, and they just wanna discuss the process here and what's coming to the town. This isn't a public hearing, there will be public hearings, so I just want
And
people.
you feel you guys need to stay out of it at
I
this point?
am waiting for a little bit of, I had a second question, so I'm waiting for a little bit of clarification on my end. And then, once I get complete clarification, then I'll let you know what I can do, but I'll just open the meeting for you and then.
I will not be doing anything.
Okay. And who's gonna run the gizmos? You?
And I'll keep the chat shut off.
Yeah.
It's very,
That's what, again, this is a presentation for the board and just so people in the public understand what's.
yeah, because we
What's
don't have anything yet, right?
We
I
don't
didn't get anything at all.
I don't know what exactly is going on. That's another reason why I haven't finished, I'm kind of making sure to see what's going on here so I can get a true definitive answer. It's hard to answer legal questions when I don't have all the information.
But you'll both be there.
I will be
Yes,
on.
of course, yeah,
All right, and I'll wear a shirt and I'll be sober.
perfect.
Maybe. You'll have a shirt on.
Go wear the pants too.
Nobody will know.
Nobody will know.
I'm sorry, Liz, did you have a question?
Well, I just wonder if I could take another 5 minutes of your time, wearing my food pantry hat, but talking about municipal building, about buildings in this community. I'm in and out of terrible buildings and apartments, and I don't know the system. I don't know who to talk to about that. Yes, the Board of Health, yes, the building inspector. I don't know how a building inspector is brought in, what has to be, what the issues have to be. I don't know what brings the Board of Health in, because the people I work with are individual families. But the conditions that I walk into when if I'm going to visit a particular family or get them, take them some food or sit down with a couple and talk something out. It's just, people should not have to be, and I'm not saying that, there aren't tenants who just make a mess of things in their apartments, but they should not have to walk into a building where the stairs are worn and it's just a mess. And I'm upset about it, as you can tell. How do I, for instance, address some of this?
You write a letter you can make a complaint, and then it has to be dealt with.
I can make a complaint against accompanying.
Just to the Board of Health
Or-
for the
or-
address.
Well, the Board of Health, but if it's a safety issue with the building, it's the building inspector
Right,
and the Board of Health.
right.
And I don't
And
know,
us too, you could copy us too.
I don't, you know, I don't know, I don't know what to call unsafe in certain ways, and so I'd like to be able to, I don't want to be a nuisance reporter, but it just seems to me that it doesn't have to be an emergency. Someone has to look at this and say, we're better than this, and people who are paying $1,400 a month for small apartments should be able to expect more than this.
If I may, you could find out through the assessors who owns the building and write them
Okay.
up, write the owner, I'm keeping my language clean, write the owner and say who, you know, who you are, that you do this kind of work in town, and, you know, you find this offensive, unnecessary, dangerous. If you think that it's,
I will do that. It's difficult because so many buildings are overseen by a place called VP Property Management in Chicopee. And, you know, that the landlords turn over
sure,
the accounts to them, so
Right.
they don't, you know, so it's very hard to get to the landlords.
right, there's layers of, there's
Yeah.
letters to the editor. I mean, you can try to make noise. You know, the town building inspector and the Board of Health are gonna be, you know, they're gonna act as well and as
Can I
forcefully
go?
as they can.
Just as a private citizen
I
to
think
the
as a
Board of
private
Health
citizen, you
or
can,
the
yeah, sure.
building inspector and say, go to such and such Bridge Street or Bridge Court and take a look at this,
I believe so,
even though I'm not a tenant.
right.
I don't mind commenting if you're willing to listen.
What?
I don't think you can do that. And I think what you're so concerned, which I can see, is draft a letter and leave out the person, but write the letter as a complaint if you want the Board of Health to address it, and have several copies of these letters and just let the people put in their name and sign it, so it comes from them for the Board of Health, I think, or the building inspector act upon it.
It's a great idea.
They have to be invited in to see the problem. And
Yeah, people are afraid of getting evicted.
we had put on a website a while ago, and I don't know if it's still there, but Worcester County provides free legal services for people in that situation. There is a free legal service that will support them.
Okay.
Good, good.
The last comment, totally different. Are there any grants in municipalities, do you think, to put solar on the top of apartment buildings? Something that's fairly overarching and innovative. Are there any sort of municipal projects that affect
Private home?
private buildings?
You're better off talking to one of the
apartment
solar
buildings?
companies, I bet.
What?
I bet you're better off talking to like Trinity Solar or one of those companies. They may.
Okay,
And maybe the Community Development Office in Ware.
okay. Okay, I know those people actually.
It's kind of more of a specialty thing.
Because it, okay, I mean, incentive programs, I guess. Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you for all you do.
We had
And
a
can you
big
just sign this? You didn't sign the treasurer one.
Move to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.